to Ill-Equipped History.
Bonus episode.
Ooh, it's our spooky bonus episode. Oh my god. Not us screaming because we went to a hospital.
A haunted hospital. It was so spooky, y'all.
I was actually about to say no one cried, but I did. So we'll.
Oh.
Of all the people, it was me.
I did not cry, but I left before the real scary stuff happened, which Emily will talk to you about later.
Oh my god, y'all.
Scary spooky.
Y'all, we scared the guide. Like, I cannot wait to tell y'all everything that happened.
Okay, well, I guess without further ado, let's get into our episode. So I'm going to cover the history, because there's not really a whole lot of history about this place we went to.
Yeah.
And then Emily is going to cover all the spooky stuff, and I guess I'll interject with my experiences here and there.
Yeah. Also, we're so sorry this is late. Turns out we got a lot of like audio and video to look at, and it took us longer than anticipated. So
it was all Emily. I was a dumbass and left all my stuff with her, so she was like, "I'll just do it." So she did everything. Give her your love. I do not deserve her as a co-host. I am trash.
You are not trash. What I will take in return is y'all signing up to the Patreon.
Yes.
And I will send you stickers so you can pay me with money instead of love.
through the Patreon. Please do this.
Through the
Emily
Patreon.
worked so hard on all of this.
Yes. And I'll send you a sticker.
Yes, please.
Okay. Morgan, regale us of the history.
So, where we went, and this will be confusing, so bear with us. We went to the Old South Pittsburg Hospital, which is now the Old South Pittsburg Hospital Paranormal Research Center. This is in Tennessee. There is a little town in Tennessee called South Pittsburg, and we'll talk about why it's called South Pittsburg. This is not South Pittsburg in Pennsylvania. We are not in the south of Pittsburgh. There were some people who I talked to who were slightly confused about that, which is understandable because this is a tiny, tiny town in the middle of the mountains in East Tennessee that is literally, you drive through it for like 0.5 seconds before you're out of it.
You've got two main things going on in this town, and that is an off-road park that Morgan and I frequent, and the Lodge Cast Iron Factory.
Yes, which we'll also talk about a little bit.
Yes, that's what you got.
That's
it.
That's it. And mountains. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah,
we
it is.
Actually went out to eat. There's a restaurant on top of a mountain called Top of the Rock, which is a really nice restaurant.
Good. Yeah.
And it is, oh gosh, the views are gorgeous.
They have in the winter, they have like an outdoor seating area, and in the winter they have like domes you can get.
Really?
And so you can sit outside in the middle of the winter and be in your own little dome, and it's very romantic.
Oh gosh,
and I want to do it.
Beautiful. Ah,
yes,
gorgeous little town.
Okay, yes, it's awesome.
So, the hospital, we're going to talk about the hospital and a little bit about the town, and we'll get into spooky stuff.
Yeah.
So one thing that's really cool about the area, the hospital is actually built on top of a natural spring that runs through there. And I wonder if it's like this natural spring that is like what draws things to it.
They do say water attracts paranormal activity, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Because I don't know why else all this activity. It's considered one of the most haunted hospitals like in the country.
Yeah.
And it was only open for 40 years.
Wild.
So why? And it was just a regular hospital. Like there were no like crimes against humanity committed at this hospital. It was just a regular hospital.
Run-of-the-mill hospital.
But it's so haunted, apparently. And Maybe it's because of the spring. Who knows?
Maybe.
Or because there's some tragedy that happens in the area because south. So who knows? So the spring that the hospital's on, it actually runs directly into the Tennessee River. So the town, that's also part of what brought people to the area, is because there's fresh running water there.
Yes.
Way back in 1778, this was a home of different Native American tribes. What they would do with the land, there were fruit orchards, there's got a lot of great hunting, native to the region, and fishing, of course, because there's all this natural water. And fast forward to the end of 1863, the Civil War happened. And so the area where South Pittsburg is, it was formerly Cherokee land. And in 1838, the Trail of Tears route ran through here. And this is where the Native Americans were forcibly expelled from the eastern United States west to Oklahoma because of the Indian Removal Act. And part of the Trail of Tears goes through what's now South Pittsburg, Tennessee. And during the Civil War, it was actually, Tennessee was very much so divided between the Confederacy and the Union. And so there was a lot of battles that happened in Tennessee because of this conflict. It's very interesting to read about. Maybe we'll do an episode about like Tennessee and the Civil War.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that happens here. So after the Civil War, the Union soldiers in 1863, they claimed the land, but the people in the area that like lived in this area, because there were, white settlers and stuff who would come in, and just people who lived, because Tennessee was a state at this point, the soldiers would confiscate livestock for their purposes and all of their supplies. And so the people who lived here had a really hard time because all of their goods and supplies and resources were being commissioned for the military. But one thing that's really unique about this area is that it's very rich in mineral resources. So they're like, hey, maybe we can like open some mines to, sell the things, because it's in the middle of the mountains. So there's lots of natural ore and limestone. And then not long after that, the railway came through. Mm-hmm. So by 1867, the Nashville and Chattanooga Railroad had, because South Pittsburg is right like in between Chattanooga and Nashville, they had set up like a branch off into what would eventually become South Pittsburg because of the different ores. Like there was coal, there was iron, there was limestone. And so it would behoove people to get a railroad from where all the ores were being mined to be shipped to different areas.
Yeah, that makes sense. Show me the money.
Show me the money. Show me the coal. In 1873, a man named James Bowron, who was a British like investor, saw this as like, hey, this could be like a new booming like iron production town. Mm-hmm. And this is where it gets the name South Pittsburg, because it was thought this would become the Pittsburgh of the South, because Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is very well known for its iron production and iron works.
Right.
So they're like, hey, let's like get up all this, we got all this iron production and iron manufacturing. We're going to bring a lot of industry to the South. So, they start their surveying, they start laying out a bunch of, mines and everything. The town is being built. There's churches and schools being built. The town is being developed.
Yeah.
So it seems like it was pretty productive, maybe not quite to the levels of North Pittsburgh, but, there's a lot of industry going on. Like things were being set up. And you know what? The fact that the cast iron facility is here makes a lot of sense, because it's very rich in iron ore.
That makes so much sense.
I just made that connection.
Iron?
Oh. Cast iron? So another Nashville group comes in, led by a man named William M. Duncan in 1886. He really began launching into the development of the city. He created the South Pittsburg City Company in 1887 and basically remapped everything into what we know today. So some more like just little historical facts before we talk about the hospital. because, again, little tiny town. There's not a lot that happened here, but a couple notable events. There was an actress named Jabina Lancaster Ralston Arlen, which is quite the name.
What a
She
name.
was, I know, I hope I said her name correctly. I had never heard of her before, but she was born in South Pittsburg in 1899, and she was a silent movie star.
Cool.
Yeah. She was in the first picture to win an Academy Award called Wing.
Oh.
And she eventually married actor Richard Arlen and retired from the movies in 1932. And there is a historical marker. She's her claim to fame.
She's gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me look up a
She
picture
is.
of her.
She's so cute. She's just cute.
Oh, look at her.
Yeah.
Oh, she is. She's beautiful. She's got like that perfect little tiny mouth that was like so popular in like the silent film era.
And she's got the like, what is it? The heart-shaped lips.
Yeah, she's got like that round face. Those
Yeah.
super gorgeous eyes. She's so beautiful. I mean, like, when you think of like silent movie star actress, she's like the definition of
That's
everything.
Yes. Wow. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, Jabina. Another less happy memory is that there was actually a really horrific shootout that happened in South Pittsburg. I didn't
God.
see what started it, what happened. It was in 1927 on Christmas night at the intersection of 3rd Street and Cedar Avenue. 6 law enforcement officers were killed in the shootout.
Geez.
So it was really, really intense. So intense that the National Guard had to be called in.
Oh, God.
So there is a historical marker marking this shootout.
Wait,
and like
so the National Guard actually showed up for this one and not...
not for the Battle of Athens.
Anyway, sorry.
Maybe it's because it's closer to Chattanooga than Athens is.
Maybe.
And that's really... I mean, there's a couple other things, but the really big draw to South Pittsburg is the Lodge Factory store and museum.
Yeah.
So Joseph Lodge started his first cast iron foundry 27 years after South Pittsburg was founded in 1873.
Wait, his last name is Lodge?
Yep.
I just thought of like a cabin kind of lodge and thought, well, it's cast iron, so it's country. That's what
You know what? That's such a silly train of thought, and that was my exact train of thought about why it was called Lodge. Because, like, oh, you use cast iron and lodge in cabin lodges, like log cabins and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay, thank you, sir.
So I guess 1900 was when he started his first foundry. If I'm doing my math correctly, it was destroyed by fire because everything was before like 1955.
Yeah.
But he rebuilt and his business boomed.
So Lodge is actually from South Pittsburg.
Yes.
Like that is where the cast
Where it
iron started.
Well, at least his... I'm sure there were like others, but that's where he started his...
That's where
foundry.
Lodge, specifically Lodge Cast Iron started.
Yes.
That is so damn cool.
I know.
I had no idea. Lodge is such a good cast iron company.
It is. It's like the go-to. Like if you go to a store, like it's known for its very high quality. Like it's like I went to Target not too long ago, and all of the cast iron options they have are Lodge, and I'm sure at other stores.
So nice. Yeah.
It's really good quality. I think mine is Lodge.
I have a couple Lodges, and I've got a couple, like my my waffle iron is not Lodge, but it's from like 1903, so it probably wouldn't have been. But yeah, if I see Lodge, I buy Lodge. Mm-hmm. That's so cool.
So the Lodge Manufacturing Factory store has been open since 1994, but the museum has been open for a little while. The biggest attraction is the world's largest cast iron pan. Have you ever seen this cast iron pan?
No.
It weighs 14,000 pounds.
What? Cast iron pan. I'm sorry, what the fuck? It's bigger than a person. And it's got a little fake egg in it. Well, not little, but the egg is as big as me. Oh my God. You know?
There's pictures of it being like shipped, and it's literally on like a flatbed tractor trailer by itself. This thing looks like it's 10 feet tall, like 10 feet by 10 feet.
There is a grown adult man standing beside it, and he only goes halfway up it.
Yeah. So it's probably closer to like 12 feet, like from like the outside rim. It's probably like 12 feet across, like 12 feet in diameter, and then you have like the both handles.
I have to go see this. I have no choice.
Yes.
The cast iron beckons. It calls me.
It calls me to make a bunch of cornbread. Which there is a yearly cornbread festival that's thrown in South Pittsburg by the Lodge company.
The fuck have we been doing? What have we been doing? My cornbread banjo ass soul has been missing this my whole life.
Yes. Sounds like there's something we need to change, Emily. We need to start going to this annual cornbread festival.
Not me Googling it the moment we're not recording anymore. I need dates and times, damn it.
Okay, so let's talk about the hospital, why we're all here today. So the land that the hospital was built on was just forest. It was just woodland. There was, Native Americans weren't living there. There wasn't a plantation. It was just woods. Before it was built, the closest hospital in the area was in Bridgeport, Alabama, which used to be a house.
Curious. Yeah, I'm really curious how far away that is. Bridgeport, Alabama.
I wonder if it's just on the other side of the border.
It's 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes.
Which is,
not that far.
So, but that part of Tennessee is very interesting because it's like the borders of Alabama and Georgia. It's like, they're all like, it's the tri-state area, you know?
Yes, the tri-state. Oh, I would like it to be known that even though that was only 10 minutes from South Pittsburg, we're also talking about Bridgeport was supporting areas like Kimball and Jasper and New Hope and I think it's Orm, and the surrounding areas, probably Whitwell as well.
Yeah.
So that hospital was probably very overwhelmed all the time.
Because it was a house.
It was a converted house. It's not a hospital. It was a house.
And, there's not a lot of people who live in this area. Like, this part of Tennessee is very rural. Mm-hmm. But it did need a hospital. So in 1858, they broke ground and it was built in 1959. 4 doctors founded the hospital, which Emily will get you their names later in like a video or something.
We're going to do our best. Okay. It's hard to find things on this place. Okay.
Yes. We tried looking up the names of the doctors who founded this hospital, and apparently they are only available on the walls of the hospital itself. They're not online anywhere that we could find.
Yeah.
So they founded the hospital, and it was named South Pittsburg Municipal Hospital. It is a total of 68,000 square feet. It is 3 stories. There was a deal worked out between the state and what was called Tri-City Clinic, Inc., and they managed the facility, and like they even had their own little clinic in the hospital, but the state owned the building.
Right.
And that opened October 13th, 1959. The first baby born in the hospital was that day, October 13th at 3 a.m., birthed by Dr. Ryan. And what was really interesting, there was this area in the hospital that we walked through. It was a waiting room like near the clinic. And that's just where people would go to hang out. It was like social time.
You ever just go to a hospital to hang out? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't, but there's not really much else to do. I don't even think they had Walmart yet, so...
No, and the cast iron store wasn't open. It was just the manufacturing at that point. So you couldn't even go look at cast iron.
Right. So besides like the movie theater, I think that was probably the only like social place.
Listen, I'm gonna say it. Nurses and doctors know all the good gossip because they're seeing so many people. And so many people, especially in a small town, in the surrounding areas, everyone knows everybody.
Yes.
And Susan's going to come in and tell a story about her neighbor, Jerry, where Jerry did this because his wife said that. And Jerry's wife's friend, I could see that's where you go to get all the good, the scoop on the area.
Yes.
You know what? I'd go hang out there. I would.
Yeah.
I redact it. I'd take it back. I would go.
When we looked through, there was like a TV in there. Like it was an old TV. Like one of those flat screens from the 90s that was like
flat screen.
The
ones that sit on the ground. They're 6 feet tall and 4 feet deep.
Yes. There was one of those. We saw a bunch of like old magazines that was really cool. And there was just like chairs, and I'm sure they had like coffee and tea and water and stuff, and they would just hang out.
I love that.
Additions were made to the building as time went on in 1961, 1964, and 1969. And then the third floor was added in the 1970s to make way for some more space. And I think there was some, I'm trying to remember, I think the second floor had most of the operating rooms, right?
Yeah, the second floor was the biggest. Mm-hmm. It had, let's see.
So I know the Tri-Cities Clinic was on the second floor, and that had a bunch of stuff.
Yes. So we've got the Tri-City Medical Plaza on the second floor. We've got lab and surgery. We've got day surgery. So I guess that would be outpatient. We had geriatrics that we could not go into because the roof had collapsed. Mm-hmm. We have just also normal patient rooms on the third. That was the second floor. We're going in a weird order, guys. We have a rehab area. We have labor and delivery areas, and along with some operating rooms. And then back down on the first floor, we have exam rooms, labs, doctor's offices. And then to one side, we have Jim's apartment. We will talk about Jim later. And we've got the kitchens, which Morgan never went into.
Not because I didn't want to, because we didn't know it was there.
We couldn't find it, but we found it. Some of us found it at the end, and then some other various things. So that's kind of the layout.
Yeah.
Of what we got going on here. Yes.
Was the false chapel considered on the first floor? I guess.
I think so, but you had to be on the second floor to get to it.
Yeah. There was only
which was weird.
Yeah, one way in, one way out, except for like a ground floor exit, I think.
Yes.
Which I'm sure we'll talk about the false chapel too. That one was rough.
Yes.
So the third floor was added in the 1970s. The last baby was born in 1986. The rehab stayed open into the late 90s because a new hospital was being constructed, and I did see it was somewhere on I-24.
Okay.
And the operating room stayed operational during this time as well. Mm-hmm. The hospital officially closed in 1998 because of a new hospital that was built. The reason a new hospital was built and this one closed is because it was just not big enough, because the surrounding areas were having more population growth, and it just could not sustain the population.
Yeah. We want it to be known that nothing bad happened. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like, there were no evil doctors.
No.
There were no, weird TB cases. Even though they did have like one TB room.
Right.
It was not this is not a hospital that did bad things. It was just a hospital.
Just a hospital.
From what we can tell, a pretty well run one as well.
Yeah.
So just know that.
Yeah, and people were saved and people died just like any other hospital, but there wasn't like these evil lobotomies or bodies stored in the basement or anything like that. Like,
no, there's no body shoots like in those the TB hospitals where they took them underground. Nothing like that.
Did we? Oh, I just remembered the morgue situation.
Oh, where you'd be sitting on the
in the bathroom, and there. I don't know if the hospital didn't have a proper morgue, so they kind of had like a body storage area that was on the other side of a restroom.
You'd be sitting in the waiting room in the emergency room, and if you had to pee, you were peeing next to the dead bodies and you had no idea.
They were behind a wall, thankfully.
They were.
You weren't just
but if you could reach through that wall, you'd touch a dead body.
Yeah, I think it was it because you looked into that room, right? And you saw, was it like that carousel?
No.
Or was it just like
a room.
shelves? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. If y'all want to hear the carousel story, go watch the video that I'm going to post hopefully sometime this week.
Okay. So after it closed, there was some talks about converting it to a nursing home. It just didn't happen. It did remain open for 4 years as a rehabilitation center, but it did close in 2002. And during that time, Jim, who we'll talk about, was the caretaker of the grounds. He was like a groundskeeper that lived on the property. It was closed officially in 2002. It was purchased. I think they tried to make it like a flea market.
Yeah.
For a little while. It was an embroidery shop, a pet store, antique shop, Halloween haunted attraction storage facility, personal residences, and now it is a paranormal investigation research center. So there was a guy named Ronnie D who was a paranormal investigator, and he, after the hospital had been closed for a while, he went in and he was so excited about all of the paranormal phenomena that he encountered. He outright bought the hospital building.
What a flex.
I know.
I mean, what a flex.
And he turned it into the Old South Pittsburg Hospital Paranormal Research Center, which is its name today.
I love it.
I do too. So that is the history of the hospital.
So we're going to talk about some notable people that we're going to mention before we get into our paranormal findings. So the first person we've already kind of mentioned, his name was Jim. He was the caretaker after its closing. And we're going to tell you what they told us about him. So apparently, from what I can tell, he had moved up here from Florida and had been accused of being a pedophile, but apparently he wasn't. Apparently the child recanted their statement
of their own accord.
Free will.
Yeah.
Yes, their own accord. That is what we know of that situation. I think it's funny that had they not said that, I never would have even known.
Right.
Right. But okay, now we have to say it.
I wonder if that's a disclaimer for the locals.
Maybe.
That may have known
Maybe it
him.
is. Yeah. So apparently he moved up from Florida and had changed his identity to get away from that reputation. He had worked for Disney on Ice, Ringling Brothers, and Barnum and Bailey, and was a very artistic person. He actually converted after it closed, obviously. He was a caretaker. He lived there. He had his own apartment within the hospital. He changed some of those rooms into recording studios, which were very well done, by the way.
They looked awesome.
I wish we had some of those. Do you know how crispy our audio would sound? Professional. One day we're going to be like Jim and his sound recording studios.
Yes.
But from what the paper said that our guide so graciously let us take a picture of, he died of natural causes from heart complications in the mid-2000s and was found 10 days after his death in the hospital. But then apparently his death certificate says he died in Florida, so there's discrepancies, IDK. But apparently he had wrote a goodbye email in the event of his death that was never sent.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, so I guess someone was just to find it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's Jib.
Okay. Our next person of interest is Miss Nellie. She was a dementia patient who lived at the hospital. Her family dropped her off there. She lived on the 3rd floor.
In the rehab, yeah.
In the rehab area, because again, she was a dementia patient. By all accounts, she was beloved. She would walk around the hospital and like try to help out the nurses. And from what we were told, she was just super, super sweet. She did die in her room. Which her room, that was an interesting experience that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So odd.
That's really all we know about Miss Nellie.
Yep. Oh God, I gotta talk about Buddy. Okay, Buddy. Okay, so the story goes, and I'm sure there's records of this somewhere, that a little boy, he was 7 or 8 years old, loved fishing, and thought he was getting worms for fishing. But it turned out to be baby copperheads, snakes, and he had shoved them in his pocket. So by the time they found them, Lord knows how many times those little snakes had bit him. And he ended up passing away in the hospital. And he is said to be in the operating room, the emergency room, the ER, not the OR. He is said to be in the ER of the hospital, which is on the 2nd floor. And the ER has all sorts of toys and stuff that have been given to him. And I got through that without crying. So I did it.
You did. I also didn't mention Miss Nellie's room also had dolls and toys and flowers that people left for her. Those two seem like very beloved spirits.
They did. Yes.
I'm proud of you for not crying.
Thank you.
The next one we did not encounter, as far as I know.
We also did not seek him out.
Right. We left him alone. His name was Fred, I believe. And he was also known as the Candyman.
Okay. I'm so glad that you have the brain of an elephant because mine is a goldfish and I don't remember his backstory that much. So thank God.
So from what our guide told us, he was a meth addict, which is not uncommon in the rural South. We don't know a lot about his time in the hospital, but what we were told is that on the day he was supposed to be released, because he had achieved, I don't think it was true sobriety, but he had at least gone through detox in the hospital from meth. And I think it may have been court ordered to detox. Yes. And the night he was supposed to be released, he had a friend bring him drugs and he ended up overdosing and passing away that night in the hospital.
Oh, that's so sad. Do we call him the Candyman because of drugs?
I think so.
That's kind of the vibe I was getting.
Yeah. Which,
yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't either.
We did not encounter him. People asked. I said, let's let him rest because our guy told a story of one of the only scary experiences he had working at the hospital right around Fred's room.
Yeah, he was setting up some kind of equipment in the hallway and he went to go set it up. And what he said was he heard someone run out of, I guess, Fred's room. And I mean, it sounded like a person running
at
full
him.
Stop at him. And Blake was like, nah, and then took off and ran. I don't blame him. But so we were like, I don't think we want to interact with this guy.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like he wants people poking about
No, and his room is across the hallway from Miss Nellie's, pretty much, kind of catty corner, but across the hallway. So we were like, we're gonna talk to Miss Nellie. Okay. And the last notable name before we get into it is Miss Betty. She is said to be on the second floor nurses station, and that is because she passed away in the bathroom that is behind, like within the nurses station. So at the time, apparently this is really bad, but the door swung in to the bathroom. Apparently while she was in there, she had a heart attack or a heart incident and passed away. The way she fell in, because it's a tiny bathroom, she fell in front of the door, and it took them hours to get to her and be able to get her body extracted out of that bathroom. So it is said she is still there. And that's really morbid. The door now swings outward.
Yeah.
And yeah. Yeah, so now every time you pull that door open, just think of Miss Betty.
Yeah. And that was, did he say it was in like the 80s or so?
I think so. I think it was fairly modern, as in not the 50s.
Right.
Or 60s. Yeah.
So those are the notable people that we'll be referring to as we talk about our experiences in this hospital. And now Emily is going to talk about our adventure.
Okay. I am going to need a little bit of your elephant brain memory because while we were, our first hour there, we were getting a tour. An amazing, wonderful, detailed tour by Blake. He was awesome. He gave us all of his favorite spots. We highly recommend him, and personal experiences, which were very helpful. Also, during this tour, I don't know if you heard any of it, but we do have accounts of some of our other group members hearing whispering, and I should tell everyone who went with us. So we've got, obviously, the two of us. We've got Lou, Shelby, Lauren, Kathy, Shy, and then we had Nancy and Kelly, and we had one that couldn't come. Sorry, Jenna, we love you. But so during this time, there are 9 of us. So some of the girls in our group were like hearing whisperings and other noises that they could not account for. Did you experience any of that?
So sometimes I would hear whispering, and there were 2 other people that were in our group, and they were Blake's wife and father.
Yes.
So I wonder if there were, because there were sometimes they would like lag behind us. So I wonder if some of the whispering was them. I will say there was one moment, and let me know if I'm jumping ahead, but we were on the second floor. We had just like done our lap of the second floor nurses station, or the second floor, and we were at the nurses station, and the rest of the group and everyone else was in front of me, including, Blake and his wife and father. So I was kind of in the back. I think someone else was near me. And we were all kind of talking, and people were like exploring the room. And I heard very distinctly, about 20 feet behind me, a woman's voice. It was only for about a second. Like literally like 1 second. And I couldn't understand what it was. But it sounded it was like not a shout. It wasn't a whisper. It was just like someone talking normally. And I wonder if it was like a nurse giving directions or something. Yeah.
And I don't want to give anything away. I did not have that written down, so I'm so glad you said it. I feel like a lot of this is residual. And we'll talk about it, but I don't think all of it is. So that would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
And we experienced some whispering and stuff towards the end after you left. So,
and it was kind of hard because Blake had told us when he was still with us that we will be more likely to hear things if we're in active conversation amongst ourselves. And like he even said, he was like, when he's giving his tour, he'll start hearing another voice talking alongside him.
Wow.
So I think some people heard that in Jim's apartment as well when we were touring there with Blake. I think some people heard another man's voice down there.
And him and his dad were the only two men there.
Yes.
So there were 10 women and 2 men. So
Yes.
I need y'all to know that. And Blake and his dad and his wife were extremely wonderful. And they stayed in that. They had like one room in a far back corner. And they were like, here's a walkie-talkie. I have one, you have one. And then we had some amongst ourselves as well. But they were like, if you need anything, let us know. I'll check on you a couple times during the night. He stayed to that. We didn't see them at all.
Yeah.
In fact, at one point they fell asleep on accident.
Yeah.
Let's just do our own devices.
Yeah.
But
and then they had gotten food and they checked on us and that was it.
yeah, that was it. And they'd let us know, like, hey, we're about to walk outside. Don't want to mess anything up for you. So they would let us know about things like that.
Yeah.
But so after our tour, starting at 9, we broke into 2 groups and we were like, we'll give it an hour. We'll reconvene at the Nerve Center. We kept calling it the Nerve Center.
Before you do that, Nancy and Kelly did have to leave.
Yes, I forgot. Nancy and Kelly, Kelly has some medical things going on and the place is just full of mold.
Yes,
So,
especially the false chapel.
yes.
It was, and I'm not even sensitive to mold and my nose was like tingling, like,
Yes.
and I think some people started getting like numb in their fingertips. So just be aware. I keep calling it a hotel. The hospital is full of mold. So just be aware if you have a mold sensitivity or allergies or have recently had surgery.
Yes, please be aware. So again, just real quick, another recap. The kitchen and cafeteria on the first floor, we did not go into for very long. There was a sitting room and patient rooms and Jim's apartment we did go to. On the second floor, nurses station, ICU, CCU, patient rooms, TB isolation rooms. That's the second floor is where our nerve center was. Mm-hmm. Patient rooms, emergency rooms, Tri-City doctor's offices, and the Falls Chapel. It's a storage area, guys.
But they put a bunch of pews in there for some reason.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Yeah.
The Tri-City doctor's offices in the Falls Chapel area, we did not go to.
Blake said they gave him bad vibes, so we're like, we trust you, Blake,
like,
and we did not go in them.
So the third floor is where the Candyman, Miss Nellie, labor and delivery, rehab rooms, nurses station, ORs, and sterilization rooms are. We went to everywhere on the third floor. And again, geriatric, the basement, and then a couple odd and in rooms were unavailable. Now, do you want to go ahead and talk about the Falls Chapel since we're not going to talk about it again?
Sure.
Since we didn't go in there?
We weren't there for very long.
Because the mold was the worst in there.
The mold was, like, you couldn't stay in there. But yeah, they had put a bunch of pews in there, which was strange because Blake was like, this was just storage, so we don't know why there's all these pews in here. And he told a story about how he was sitting just like chilling one night and he felt something sit next to him.
And his friend said that they saw the like butt imprint.
Yeah.
Because I sat on that on the pew, and it's a very squishy pew, so you could absolutely see a butt imprint if someone was sitting there.
Yeah. So.
Ugh.
We didn't go in there, and then, because, again, the mold, but also I think, like, everyone just got, like, icky vibes from that room.
We were like, we don't need evidence from here. We know it's bad.
Yeah. And we went through the clinic, and honestly, like, the clinic was fine to me. Like, I didn't really get vibes from it.
I felt fine in there.
But Blake said that he just did not like going in there. But there wasn't... I mean, the only thing that was really in there was, like, some offices and, like old computers and fax machines and stuff. There wasn't really a lot.
And, like, a prescription room.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, the pharmacy was a
like the controlled room. And, unrestricted drugs, I guess.
Yeah.
So, no more drugs in there.
Spookiest thing I saw in there was the manual Amex card Xerox machine. I was like, I forgot those existed.
The super old credit card readers.
Yes. Where it's like.
Yeah. I think the other thing was Buddy's Ball. Was by the exit
Buddy's
doors.
Ball. Mm-hmm. We're beginning, finally, on our own. So we break into two groups. One group being Shelby, Kathy, and Lauren. The other group being the rest of us, Morgan, Emily. I said my own name. Morgan, me, Shy, and Lou. So Shelby, Kathy, and Lauren, they went up to the third floor. The rest of us stayed on the second floor. And in the operating room, in one of the ORs, they had some weird electrical things going on. Now, remember, guys, there is not really any power going to any of this. They've got like some weird wiring going on for certain lights.
Mm-hmm.
But
and a fan.
And like none of the really equipment is like working. Right. So they had the EMF, which is electromagnetic field. Yeah, I was like, Jesus, I've been saying it for days. Anyway, the EMF reader would spike around light switches, but no other equipment. But these light switches apparently were not connected to any power. And then they went back through later and they weren't doing that. So they held them up to the same light switches. Could that be something weird electrical? Sure.
Electricity is magic, as we all know.
Yes, I don't know how it works. So I just thought it was worth noting that if they had just done it once and they were like, whatever, but then they went back a second time and was like, it's not doing it now. And they were the exact same light switches. So who knows? Also, Shelby, who is more prone to seeing things, apparently saw a quick partial apparition of a nurse walk from one room to another. Another kind of one of those residual things. She saw mostly like head and leg kind of a thing. And she said it looked very much like a nurse going about her business.
Okay.
Did not interact at all. Then they went into Miss Nellie's room. And guys, I want you to know, we're only telling you the evidence we found. If we went step by step, every step of the night, we'd be here for 40 hours.
Yeah.
So, in Miss Nellie's room, the EMF meter would go up a little bit, here and there, but then they went up to leave and they said you could follow us, and they then started getting hits in the hallway after that, where they didn't get hits going to her room.
Okay. So
they had to walk all the way to the end of the hallway. They got nothing. After they left, it was hitting while they were passing the same areas. Now, they did, while I was listening to the audio, they did see a shadow, and then they talked about it. So I want to talk about this. We'll play a clip of them talking about it and trying to debunk it and not really being able to. So.
Which seat?
Just the shadow.
Was it my shadow?
That's what I'm like, it hasn't been your shadow.
But then again, there's nothing casting shadow that way from over here.
Yeah.
I keep seeing it like in a far doorway. Not this one right here, but the far doorway. I'm just getting a really weird feeling standing in here.
Why don't you take the EMF reader over there?
Okay, so Lauren saw a shadow and are like, nothing's casting a shadow. Like, nothing could cast a shadow where she saw a shadow. And then I heard Kathy say she started getting a weird feeling standing where they were standing.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's interesting that, Yeah, that they saw it and they were like, they kind of debunked it. They tried to debunk it and they couldn't really come up with a good explanation. So now on to the other group, who is the rest of us, me, Morgan, Shy, Lou, on the second floor. At the nurse's station, we walk around and we tried to use all of the equipment.
We had I had my camcorder from like 2010. Unfortunately, did not have night vision because I bought it at Walmart for like $70 back in like 2010.
Yeah,
and then
it did fine.
Yeah,
ish.
Ah.
So we had also EMF readers. We had the little cat balls. Just know we were using the cat balls all night. No one touched one of those damn things. So it's fine. Everything's fine.
We got plenty of other evidence.
Yes. So Shy was trying to, because she's our social media manager, was trying to get a TikTok for us, and was holding the EMF reader, and then it spiked and she panicked and ran away. So then it went still, and she was in the hall, kind of in front of the nurse's station, but also in line with the hallway.
Because Emily was trying to, she was in the bathroom trying to get activity from Miss Betty, which I don't think you got anything.
No, not specifically that I could pinpoint and say it was Miss Betty. So every few minutes, Shy gained her composure, went back into that area, and every few minutes it would spike, almost like someone was just walking by. And in the video, Morgan, you're like, it's almost like it's just a busy center where nurses are just walking back and forth and rushing and obviously because that's what nurses do. So eventually Morgan has this idea that maybe we just sit down and chat like Blake said we should, and we'll talk about our own personal experiences. And if you want to hear those, go watch the video.
And during this time, I had the camcorder. I'd set it up on like the countertop at the nurse's station, aimed down a hallway to see if we could get any kind of video evidence down the long, dark, spooky hallway while we were in the light talking.
Now, we did not see anything. I didn't see anything. So if you guys do, let me know.
Yes.
So, because, sometimes I miss things, which is fine. So please take a look at that and let us know. And so we're sitting there telling our stories about my many times in a hospital, Lou dealing with her mother passing in a very fast way and dealing with that in a hospital. And then all of our other, we're just chatting about hospital stories and things of that nature. And it really seemed to because we had set the EMF reader down on the table. No one was touching it. No one put electronics around it. We kept them all away. And it seemed like when we were talking about personal experiences, it would spike. And it liked us talking about the hard topics. It really liked Lou's story. So,
like every time she said hospital or morgue, it was like light up to red.
Yes.
Which is very interesting.
It was so weird. So now, Morgan, know this one, and audience, this audio is amplified just for you to, there's a kind of a weird noise at the end. There's a section that's amplified. It's hard to hear.
Okay.
So okay. The cat wall is still there. Just turn the fan off so we can hear you better.
Are you hearing that?
Sounds like wind.
Sounds like a conversation. Down that way.
I couldn't really hear anything.
It's really hard to hear, and I don't know if it's just like it was easier to hear straight from the recording thing.
Yeah, because I'm getting a lot of like static.
Yeah.
So
it was almost like bits of a conversation on top of like a whoo, like it did kind of sound like wind and a conversation at the same time.
Because I heard,
So
I remember this part in the night, like someone said, and I thought it was wind against like the building because I heard like a noise. I was just assuming it was wind because it was.
But was it windy that night though? I don't remember it being windy at all.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. So there's a really faint noise. If you can hear it, great. If you can't, don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Shy and I both heard it. I swear we did. Now, moving on to the next thing we heard, there is a male voice that is heard. I did take some of the background static out of this one to try to help. So hopefully I didn't take away any of the guy's voice, but so we'll see.
It's still going on, so I think, and the ceiling is missing out of there.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't think that was, like, it was very consistent.
So you hear it, and then you hear me go, it's still going on. And that's when we're like, we just think it's something else. But we didn't actually hear that male's voice at that time in person. I also want it to be known that upstairs during this time, Shelby and the other girls were playing music. But one, we could not hear what was going on the second story. And also, after listening to their recording, what we hear here is not what was being played upstairs.
Right. So I heard what almost sounds like it's just like a blip, like a.
Yeah.
But then like after that, it almost sounds like a busy. Like it's almost like a ambient noise in like a crowd.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like an effect from the recording, but it sounds like there's like multiple voices talking at the same time, like way more than just the four of us. Like it sounds like a low ambient crowd of like a lot of voices talking.
Yeah. And then Lou says it sounds like a conversation. And there was no point upstairs that they even sounded like that at all.
We couldn't hear them at all.
No. So I'm going to listen to it one more time.
It's still going on, so I think, and the ceiling is missing out of there.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't think that was, like, it was very consistent.
Yeah.
See, it's
it
crazy.
Does sound like, yeah.
Because the second time I played it, I didn't hear the man's voice.
Really?
Yeah. I heard it the first time. I didn't hear it the second time.
That's odd. I heard it both times. Don't know. Another weird one. So then the next thing we heard, and these are all within the same recording stuff, all outside, right outside of the nurse's station before we sit down and start chatting to ourselves.
Okay.
Amongst ourselves. So this one sounds like another male indirectly talking.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's people.
It sounds like music almost.
Yeah.
I almost could hear, like, it sounded like a faint. It was hard to tell if it was male, but it did sound like voices.
Yeah.
It's like right around the time you can hear the camera click.
Yeah. It's really weird. So that's kind of what we got around the nurse's station. The next room we went to was the emergency room, and this was Buddy's room. We did lay the EMF reader on the bed. If you want in-depth on the questions we asked and everything, that will be in the video as well, because Morgan captured that. We did the cat balls. Again, he didn't use those. And we spoke to him about our kids and what they like, and, you know, did he like that stuff too? And the EMF reader was going freaking wild.
Yeah. Like,
So responsive.
in response to our questions. And I can't believe I got video of it because it's
insane.
I think it's,
again, we put it on the bed. No one was touching it. We backed away.
Right.
Wow. So Morgan, you said you were getting waves of cold chills, but you weren't cold.
Right.
Because it was hot. Lou felt very nauseous in her belly. And I did something that I don't do, guys. I sobbed uncontrollably. Mm-hmm. And yes, just me thinking about this story is very heart-wrenching.
Right.
Because I too have an 8-year-old son that loves fishing and would, it just sounds like something he would do, not thinking.
Yeah.
But the way that my emotions just ran.
It was like
wild.
When we went into Buddy's room and when we left, like, Emily was the most emotional I think I've probably, like, that was like the third time I've ever seen you cry ever. And it was like she could not get it under control.
I couldn't. I'm normally real good at holding it in.
Yeah.
But I couldn't.
And then, like, after we left, you seemed to be able to get your composure. It was like while we were just in the room. And the room was very interesting. And I do want to share this one. It was kind of a funny thing that happened. So we were trying to get, you know, ask questions or talk about things. And we were like, well, he's an 8-year-old boy who loves fishing. Let's talk about fishing. And so I told the story of how my uncle threw a fish at me. And it, like, stabbed me in the arm with its fin. And the EMF reader was going off.
It looked like it was laughing.
Yeah. And I could see how, like, an 8-year-old boy would find that story hysterical because it's ridiculous.
Could you imagine having, like, dotted scars on your arm from a fish fin?
I had them for years. They've gone away now, but I had, like, a row of, like, little black dots on my arm for, like, 4 or 5 years afterwards. All in a straight line.
That's hilarious. Well, I'm glad Buddy found it funny.
Yeah.
From what we could tell, he did seem to follow us until we got to the nurse's station. And then we didn't, you know, hear from him again. We literally went back to Nerve Center early because I was crying so hard.
Yeah. She needed to take a break.
I did. So we did go back to Nerve Center, and then something really funny, and I don't know if this is paranormal or not, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So we got back, and we waited about 10 minutes. So weird. So Morgan, we sat there for 10 minutes, and we were like, hey, the other group should be here by now. Morgan, you've got the radio. You should call it in. And you said, I want to call them something funny, though. We should come up with team names. And we workshopped a few, and we settled on them being the Big Booty Boos, and we were Satanic Titties.
So I call on the radio. I call on the walkie-talkie. I said, Big Booty Boos, Big Booty Boos. This is Satanic Titties. And right outside of our nerve center, we heard a woman laugh.
Yes.
And then nothing.
And then we thought, at first, we heard the woman laugh. We thought, oh, they were walking in right when we said it.
Right.
But, one, they didn't show up for another 5 minutes because they got lost. 2, we would have heard our own voice on their walkie-talkie had they been right outside the door. But all 4 of us heard a like a laugh. Like someone laughed at our joke. Our Satanic Titties.
And then
outside the door.
Right outside the door. And there was no talking. We couldn't hear footsteps. We couldn't hear, like, clothing rustle. Silence. And after a few minutes, because we all heard it, we all looked at each other and we're like, haha, and then nothing else. And we're all kind of like, oh, that was weird. And then we waited and we're like, where are they?
Yeah.
Who laughed?
Who was that? Because if we could hear that faint but very clear as day laugh. We would have been able to hear them walking because the stairwell was literally the next room over.
Right.
So we would have heard them in the stairwell. We would have heard the walkie-talkie. I mean, we really tried to debunk it because it freaked us out a little bit. We were like, wait.
Because it sounded literally, there was like, so where the nerve center was, there was like the nerve center and like a little office, and then the nurse's station.
Yeah. Yes.
And you could see the nurse's station like through the little office area. It was like like a glass like cubicle almost with like a computer. We actually asked them when they came back, like when they finally came in, we were like, did you hear us like on the walkie-talkie? They were like, yeah, but we got lost. We were like, we heard you guys laugh. And they're like, no, that wasn't us.
No. And the weirdest thing is, 5 minutes after, the laugh, they finally walk in. And it's then you realize that this hospital, I mean, it's a hospital, so obviously it's built to be quiet. Because if it's not well insulated, that would be the loudest building ever. Right. We could not hear them until they were borderline walking through the door. And they were having an active conversation, and you could only hear them when they were 3 or 4 feet away from the door. Mm-hmm. So there was no way possible that they would have showed up in front of the door, laughed, and then got lost. Like, they would have had to be right there. And it was an easy room to find if you're within 10 feet of it.
Right, because it's like one of the only lights in the entire building.
Yes, it's like a beacon. So a ghost left at our big booty boos and satanic titties joke. So by the time we got our shit back together, 10:30 to 11:30 was our next outing. So the big booty boos, again, that's Shelby, Lauren, and Kathy, stayed on the second floor. The rest of us and our satanic titties went upstairs. We swapped. So Shelby and them went to Buddy's room, and they were asking him if he wanted to play with his favorite red ball, what his favorite, what his favorite toy it was, and which one was this, and getting really good results with the EMF reader. They would throw the ball, that would get EMF readings, and they tried to get him to go to the nurse's station. Apparently, from the questions they asked, he didn't like to go to the nurse's station, which is interesting that when we went, he didn't go past the nurse's station. He just
he
stopped.
Went with us up to the point we got there.
And then he just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
So, Morgan, what we're going to hear is a voice, a sound. But then we're going to hear all three of them talking afterwards, so you can tell the difference between, like, how close they were and how clear they were to the microphone.
We don't want you uncomfortable.
Several people wrote about the pharmacy being very active.
Really? I would
Yeah.
not have thought the pharmacy would be active.
No. But I can check it out. I mean, if he's not comfortable too.
Morgan, what does that say? What
It
does
sounded
that
like you
say?
said, we're here.
Yes, that's what we heard too. Shy and I both heard that. We're here.
Oh gosh, like I had like a weird like numb sensation go across like my face.
I want to listen to it again. Oh my God.
It's very
I cannot.
sing-songy.
We don't want you uncomfortable.
Several people wrote about the pharmacy being very active.
Really? I would
Yeah.
not have thought the pharmacy would be active.
No. But I can check it out. I mean, if he's not comfortable too.
And it sounds like they didn't even notice.
No, they didn't at all. They did not hear it at all. But it sounded like a very happy woman going, we're here. And it was not any of them, because you can hear each one of them talking so clearly, like they're standing next to the microphone. And that was so far away.
Yeah, it sounded like it was like down a couple doors.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I don't know exactly where that was. I do know it was on the second floor, and they did spend a good amount of time at the nurse's station, so it very well could have been there. I don't think it was in the ER where Buddy was.
Okay.
I think they had moved on past then.
Did they go into the clinic area?
I don't think they did. They talked about it, but I don't think any of us ended up actually going to investigate there specifically.
Okay.
So in general, they tested the light switches with their EMF reader on this floor as well, and they were not doing anything. So there's that. Just a little recap of that. So then they also heard shuffling and banging that was not accounted for. Again, you could not hear us upstairs.
And Blake had spoken about how, like, doors will just close or even open and close. I didn't really hear any doors opening and closing. Maybe, like, one time, but...
Yeah. The only time we heard a door open and close, that was when you guys had left, and that was actually accounted for because Blake had just come into the building.
Okay.
So we didn't hear that, but we'll talk more about that later. So one noise they did hear sounded like someone was, like, shifting their weight on the floor.
Ooh.
Like, you know how sometimes floors can, like, creak?
They'll
and
creak.
they were all standing still? Yeah.
Ooh, I hate that.
I know. Okay, so on to the third floor where the rest of the girls, us satanic titties, were. First, we went up there. We decided we were going to go straight to Miss Nellie. And Morgan, your cameras wouldn't focus. My camera wouldn't focus. It was the same amount of dark as the second floor.
Right. I'd had no problem with my camera focusing at all on the second floor and up to this point. But
Me either.
Like,
with my Nikon.
And we even had, like, our flashlights, and the camera lenses still would not adjust for anything.
Oh, I eventually had turned my flash on because it just wouldn't do the damn thing. And
I do have a question for you. So you looked through my video footage. Did you see, because I was videoing, I think my camera was, like, mostly focused on the corner where Miss Nellie had passed away and, like, the foot of the bed. And I was seeing a lot of, like, wavy lines across. Did you see that when you were looking through the recording?
I don't remember anything specifically.
Okay.
I also was watching it with the children around, so I would be really, really interested to see if anybody else sees that.
Okay. It was like
I
a distortion in the lens. It was really weird.
There was a lot of distortion. I don't know if I saw specifically waves, but I think just it trying to focus was, like, a little jarring.
Yeah.
So I would love to revisit that soon. But I didn't see anything that was like, whoo, psychedelic.
Okay.
So, no other responses from the cat balls or even the EMF in Miss Nellie's room for us. So then we go to the nurse's station where I sat in a wheelchair for the sole purpose of my legs hurting.
Yeah. We've been on our feet for hours at this point.
Yeah. And I decided while we're sitting there, we'll pull out the dowsing rods. If you want to watch that full thing will be on the YouTube video.
And I remember thinking, like, I didn't get the experience at the Bell Witch Cave with Emily and the dowsing rods, but I got this one. And you guys finally believe us when we're like, this is
and
crazy.
I promise, y'all, if I do an arm twitch, I say it out loud because I don't want to mess anything up. If sometimes my hands got a little, like, whatever. And I don't know if you saw my face, but I was pointing down, my body was pointed down the hall of Miss Nellie and the Candyman. And Morgan and I both, you were hearing it too, right?
Yeah.
You were hearing shuffling sounds, like somebody was walking around.
I heard whispering. I heard, like, it sounded like a man whispering, like 2 or 3 rooms down.
And you were sitting, like, in line of the hallway.
Yeah. So I could, like, look down the hallway.
Yeah. Oh! I was staring down it. I know. Shy and Lou were straight up having a bad time.
Yeah,
they
they
were
were.
sitting to my right on the floor next to the wheelchair, and Shy in the video, just look at her face. She's not having a good time.
No.
Lou's feeling off again. There's a creepy ass rocking horse behind me. It's
Yeah.
and yeah, the shuffles and the whispers were weird. I don't think we caught any of that on audio. Maybe if we re-listen or re-watch the video, we might be able to get some of that, but I didn't hear any of it.
Okay.
Again,
It was pretty
children were
quiet.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I could just tell, because I knew it wasn't us, because you all were on the other side of the room from me, and I heard it out of my left ear.
Yes.
Like, down.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't far away, but it sounded like a man going, like talking quietly about maybe, like, a case or something, you know, not wanting to have other people hear.
And you gotta keep those HIPAA laws going.
Right. And one thing I want to say about, like, my experience, because I think I've talked about it before. I don't like being scared. I don't, like, fully enjoy these ghost adventures, but I go anyway. And I will say, like, from the jump, the vibes were so different than... I kept comparing it to Brushy Mountain, because I talked about Brushy Mountain in last year's episode. I straight up did not have a good time, like, for 1 second while at Brushy Mountain. Just from the jump, like, I didn't have the sense of doom that I felt at Brushy Mountain. I was still, like, scared. And I was like, eyes straight ahead, because if I see something, I'll shit. But I actually didn't see anything. But I heard things. And the longer I was there, the more comfortable I felt. And I think going in, I was like, okay, this isn't a prison where, like, crimes against humanity happened. There isn't a whipping post, you know, outside of the hospital.
That broke my heart.
God. And I think I felt a little bit more comfortable, because this is a place of helping and healing. And yeah, tragedy happens at hospitals, but there was no malice.
They cared. No.
And
I cared.
I felt that. Like, I never felt any kind of malice or, like, bad vibes the entire time I was there.
Other than the false chapel.
But even
whatever the hell.
I think that was just the mold for me. Like, I didn't really feel like something was there. I was just like, I don't want to be here, because I'm going to start sneezing and I can't breathe.
Yeah. Right.
And it's really humid there too. It was like just dense. Like, everything just felt very dense.
Oh, it was thick.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, so back to Nerve Center we go, and we reconvene, and we split up in different groups this time. So no more big booty boos and satanic titties. Shelby and I wanted to go back up to the 3rd floor for labor and delivery, and then everyone else went to gyms. So Shelby and I went up first. We went up. I'll go cover us first.
Sure.
So labor and delivery. We went and sat in the... wow. I'm a newbie podcaster. I just smacked the shit out of this microphone. So, we went and sat in the nursery. The windows to my right. I'm sitting in a rocking chair next to a crib. Shelby is sitting in a chair facing the door. We're facing each other. She's facing the door. The door is to my left. Windows to my right. So we're sitting there chatting. Just kind of, like, I'm a mother of 2. She's a mother to be. Yes, she took her unborn child ghost hunting. Don't judge her. So we're chatting about experiences and you know, nurseries and things of that nature. And I am sure you guys have heard, but if you're new here, I will tell you, when something is near, I tend to get like a nauseous feeling in my throat. And I was sitting there chatting with her, and we both stopped talking, and I stared at her, and I said, at the same time that she said, shine the light in the door, I said, Shelby, I'm getting nauseous. So that happened at the same time. I pick up my phone and shine the, because I had put it down. I shine the light in the doorway. No one's there. Shelby said, I saw a nurse standing in the doorway. I saw a woman, a nurse, standing in the doorway at the same time that I had that felt very validating because we were not, she didn't say, you know, oh, there's a nurse in the doorway. And I'm like, oh, I am kind of nauseous. It happened at the same time.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, there was this doctor, there was a sign, which I will post the picture of the sign. This one doctor delivered 3 babies within an hour in this hospital, which is incredible. Like, what the heck? And 3 different women, 3 different babies within 1 hour. He set his own like record. And we were chatting about how hard that was. And then it almost, yes, it was creepy, but it didn't feel like anything out of malice. Like Morgan was saying, it was just like, what are y'all doing in here? Like, this is a nursery. Babies are sleeping. Go away.
Yeah.
Like, so, that was still creepy. So while that was happening, I actually skipped one. So then we left the nursery, obviously, and went into the labor and delivery room. And there's not anything in this room except like 2 chairs. And Shelby sat, thank you for putting chairs everywhere, because our legs thank you, and I don't like sitting on the floor. So Shelby sat to my right, I sat to the left, where I had a clear view down the hallway. And we're chatting, again, about labor and delivery things. And I see just a shadowy head look out from around a doorway and just poke back in. Just a quick...
Okay.
I know you can't see it, but like, imagine you poke it at an angle and then put your head back in.
And one thing we didn't mention was peeper hallway.
Shadow hallway.
Shadow hallway.
Yes.
So Blake was telling us on our tour. So there was a hallway going down to the Tri-Cities Clinic and Buddy's room. And he said that's called shadow hallway because it's very active with, like, if you sit there for a while and you're quiet, you will see like shadows like kind of poke their head out from behind doors and rooms, and they'll go back in. Like, they don't come out.
They don't come to mess with you.
They just are checking
in. Apparently there is a crawler or something. Like crawl on like the walls or whatever. And I will say, the hallway doors are very tall. They're like 8 foot tall doors.
Yeah.
It was about 7 feet up there. It was way up there.
Well, there is a 7 foot tall shadow man.
Well, he stared at me.
Apparently his name is Ed, and he's nice. But he's also 7 feet tall.
I don't like the fact that my back is to the rest of this basement.
I'm looking out for you. I don't see anything.
Thanks. Okay, thanks. If you see any shadow people, tell them to go back.
I will.
So, while all that was happening, everyone else was at Jim's.
Okay. So I'll talk about Jim.
Yes.
Because it was the rest of us. It was myself, Lou, Shy, Lauren, and Kathy. Because people had their own reasons for not wanting to go up to the labor and delivery ward. So we all went down to Jim's, and we've started out with like the EMF reader and the dowsing rods, but we ended up putting the dowsing rods away, and we spread out the cat balls, and nothing ever happened there. We started getting results pretty immediately, asking questions to Jim. The EMF reader was very active. And again, no bad vibes. We were just like, hey, like, we're here. We heard you like music. Lauren at one point started playing Boston on her phone. And Jim did seem to like that. So while we're doing this, Lou and Shy start talking about the move to Florida and his death, which this is not against them. My personal opinion, like when we're ghost hunting, I don't want to start talking about how people died, like trying to communicate with them. Yeah, I think that's like
rude.
Yeah, and they may not know they're dead, you know?
Yeah.
So they were talking about it, and so I asked the question about, hey, we heard you went to Florida. I don't remember exactly what I asked, but it was something about Florida. And then I immediately felt like an absence. And we stopped getting results from the EMF reader.
I have a fun little side note
Sure.
about that as well when you're done.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and I did have to keep telling people, like, let's wait a little while because we stopped getting results. So I was like, we can't just rapid fire questions. We have to give time for responses. But after a couple minutes, even Lou was like, I think he's gone. I feel like he's gone. And I was like, I feel the same way. Like, we both felt like the loss of presence.
Yes.
It almost felt colder. And I think I even remarked that because Kathy was sitting right next to me. And I was like, I feel colder after he left.
Yes. I don't know if that's I do remember that, though.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of recordings coming from him. So before the two of us come in, it was right after you had talked to them about or played some music, and you were asking him if he liked all of those songs that we said or something like that. In the middle of your sentence, there is a knock. Now, I want you to tell me if this is a knock one of y'all did.
So was that you like all those that we said?
It sounds like it's right next to the recorder. Like, it doesn't sound like it's distant. You know what I mean?
I know.
I wonder if it was one of them, like, adjusting or, like, accidentally tapping something.
Maybe. My only thing is we went and looked back at the pictures. That table had metal legs and a particle board top. And it sounded like a very hard surface
Like
tap.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing that I'm like, was it though? Like, was it? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. So around this time, you're getting where you said, like, are you still here? It kind of feels like he's left. Shy noticed a really interesting thing, and it's very subtle, but when she was listening to the audio, she remarked that every single time it felt like he was in the room, the just ambient background noise got louder.
Okay.
And then he would stop answering, and the ambient background noise would go back down.
Interesting.
And it happened every single time. We're going to hear it multiple times, some better than others, but I didn't clock it the first time. And she was like, did you notice this? And I was like, what are you talking about? And we went through the whole thing, and it happened a couple times where even after you said, it feels like it's colder when he's not in here, it had gotten quieter.
Interesting. Okay.
So, and again, there's no air conditioning running to this building.
God, it was so hot in this building.
God, we wish there was. So it cannot be anything running like that.
Yeah. There wouldn't be as much mold in this building if there was like AC.
Seriously.
Are you still here? Maybe he left. No, maybe we shouldn't have brought up Florida.
So that one was really just for you to get a baseline on. That was without him there.
Okay.
Okay, so then we show up. Shelby and Emily show up after scaring the holy bejesus out of you. I'm so sorry. I tried. I radioed down and was like, hey, we're coming. And apparently that scared everyone. It's still better, I feel like, than poking out of a dark corner and being like, surprise. So,
I'm the Shadow Man.
Yeah. So in the recordings, there's a lot of going in and out, answering questions about motorcycles. There was a scrapbook that had like his hobbies. It looked like his wife, pictures of his motorcycles, dogs, a daughter or granddaughter, something like that. And apparently Shy and you also said you had been getting random like prickles on your back and neck throughout the night as well. So on to these recordings.
Did you like working here, Jim?
Me?
Wait a second.
It sounded like people. Someone talking.
Guy's voice.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it again.
Did you like working here, Jim?
Me?
Wait a second.
Yeah.
What do
I
you
can
think?
hear like a man's voice in the background.
Going like,
Yeah.
Maybe he was going like, like, I
Yeah.
don't really like working here, because we asked, do you like working here?
And we didn't really get a yes response. So
No.
I think at one point I was like, is that a job? Is it just a job? And there was like, I think a little spike in activity. We're like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, samesies. So then we asked, are there other people at the end of the hall? Because I think some of us had been hearing something at the end of the hallway. And there's a small noise response there as well.
Are there other people at the end of the hall? Maybe.
Yeah, it
Did you
keeps
hear
sounding
it?
like there's like people going like, ah.
Yeah, it sounded like, woo.
Yeah. Like they're having a party at the end of the hall or something.
Hey, you know what? You enjoy yourself at the end of that hall. As long as you're at the end of that hall, please. So the next one, we go, are you back? Talking to Jim. And this is where you can hear the background noise get louder. And it's almost like it's pulsing. And then, so it's like he comes back.
Okay.
That's what he did
Yeah, we
earlier.
felt him leave earlier when we started getting into.
Oh, you're back? Hey.
Are you back?
We understand needing to move around.
It almost sounds like an engine started up.
Yeah.
Like a.
But it stayed consistent until it left. Until Jim left. So it coincided every single time with Jim coming and going.
Interesting.
And it really, to me, yes, it could, but it didn't though. It was almost like a whoa,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
weird noise. And it happened every time. It was so weird. Like he came and just stood in the microphone, and the microphone was like, what am I doing with this? So
Ooh. If I was a ghost, I'd be messing with the microphone too.
oh God, me too. So, okay. You can hear it get loud again. So let's hear that.
Okay.
When he's not in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it feels colder in here. When he comes back in, it feels like warmer. I don't know, it might just be me.
I get a warm, comforting feeling when he's in here. I don't.
I mean, I'm feeling a cold draft right now, if that's what you told me about.
Did you hear
I
it come
heard it.
back?
Yeah. It almost
It's so
sounds like
weird.
a unit kicking on, but there's no units
Yes.
to be
Yeah.
kicking on.
That's
'Cause-
why I said there's no air conditioning to this place,
Yeah.
because and it's also like, yeah, that would be really interesting, but this audio was only like an hour long, and it was so inconsistent, but was consistent with what was happening with Jim.
Right.
So it was really weird. The next, we're going to hear Kathy talking about the app that she had on her phone, and just some of the evidence that she, like some of the words that were popping up there.
Okay.
Nice.
Jim, you're really getting the hang of this.
I've been testing out this app to see, like what kind of words it would pop up. And as soon as that started again, it said try.
That is so cool.
When we were talking about dogs earlier, it said Sam. So I wonder if this is
Oh,
accurate.
is your dog's name Sam?
Sam.
And apparently, Sam, apparently at one point, someone was complaining about it being hot, and that they were like, well, we just need to suck it up. And then the word cupcake came over. Like, suck it up, cupcake. That was really cute.
And I think that was like pretty early on in our adventure.
Yes. So the next one, you're going to hear... Sorry. Page rustling.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one, you're going to hear me ask, did you fix motorcycles for people or for clients or something of that nature? And you're going to hear, I don't want to put something in your head, but a noise, a response.
Okay.
It does sound distant, and I need you to tell me if it was one of us, what you think.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Client.
Do you want us to be quiet?
No, client.
Oh, client. Oh, client?
Did you fix people's cars for them?
Or motorcycles? Did you fix their motorcycles for them? I love a handy man.
It's on the fence, isn't it?
I
It was almost... What did you hear?
heard what sounded like rustling, but it could have been someone like adjusting in their chair.
Yeah. Did you hear a
Let me replay. Because I think I did, but I think it may have been one of us. But let me listen.
Yeah.
Client.
Do you want us to be quiet?
No, client.
Oh, client. Oh, client?
Did you fix people's cars for them?
Or motorcycles? Did you fix their motorcycles for them? I love a handy man.
I heard a but to me that sounds like one of us affirming like a response on the EMF reader, not really something super natural.
That's
We're like,
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But I needed another set of ears just to be on the safe side.
Yeah. It did sound like one of us.
Okay. Okay. Cool. That one's debunked, guys. I'll put it in there anyway and let y'all listen to it and see what y'all think.
Yeah. But I did hear the noise kick up again, like that.
Yeah.
Noise.
It was so weird. Okay. So then last one for right now, you're going to hear us say he's his own man. And then there's a heh noise.
Okay.
Do those names mean anything?
Sovereignty right now. Sounds like.
He's his own man.
Harry.
I heard a
Yeah.
and I feel like that was Lou.
It might have been. Again, this is why we need multiple sets of ears on these things.
Yeah.
Because I have the memory of a goldfish. So that one also very well could have been one of us. We'll let y'all decide.
But I do think the voices that we heard, because I don't think it was Blake or his family, because I feel like we would have heard the door, and we didn't.
Would have. And I think I had just gone outside. The only two places they were going to be was outside on the front porch vaping, and then upstairs in their room.
Yeah.
So I had just gone out to the car because I had forgotten something in there. They were not outside.
Okay. And
So-
they wouldn't have been like hanging around the lobby just talking.
No.
And so-
they
and it-
would have known we were down there.
Yeah, and it sounded like the voices that we heard that were like very distant were coming from like the lobby area.
Yes. Yes, I agree. So now that we got some of those debunked, let's go on to the next section.
Okay.
So Lauren, I don't know why I kept typing Cathay.
Cathay.
I know there's Cathay. Lauren, Kathy, Morgan, and Lou, y'all ended up ditching us.
We were
done.
I was exhausted. I was like, y'all, like, I'm having a good time, but I will fall asleep, and I do not want to fall asleep. I want to go to bed because that morning I had like gotten up and like helped run a conference. So I was
Yes.
done. And I had to
Yes.
commute from where Emily lives to Chattanooga, which was almost an hour. So I had to wake up
Yeah.
before sunrise to get to Chattanooga in time to like help open this conference and like moderate and conference stuff. So
And we had been up the night before recording an episode of the pod. So you were tired.
I was
exhausted.
exhausted. And then we asked like if anyone wants to stay, you're welcome to, or you can come. I will say I talked to Lauren afterwards, and she was a little bummed that she came because Lauren, Kathy, and I all stayed in a room together. And the next morning we're like, because I was like, I don't regret leaving early, and they were both like, yeah, I don't either. Like, I think we got a good experience. And then when we heard about what Emily's about to talk about, Lauren was like, damn, I should have left.
Yeah. I wasn't leaving until I felt like the hospital was going to kick us out. And boy, did it.
So scary.
Okay.
I think it was Shy took a picture of me listening to the story the next morning, and everyone was laughing at my face.
Oh, that's going to make it onto some kind of social media. Truly is.
That's my I'm scared
The best
shitless
picture.
face.
She had that face the entire time we were telling them this story. Okay. So it's me, Shelby, and Shy. And then there were 3. Okay. So we went from a group of 9 to just 3 of us.
The hospital is getting rid of us bit by bit.
It is. So we went from our little nerve center, and we were just like, let's just go sit at the nurses station. And we sat there for a while, didn't really get anything other than some really cool pictures. And I went through some old books from the 80s of like stuff. I like looking at old stuff. So we did that, and we were like, we don't feel like anything is happening right now. Mm-hmm. We haven't explored the first floor a whole lot yet. Notice we've kind of been hanging around the second and third. Let's go to the first floor. So we walk down, and when you walk into the hospital to the left, there's like a little waiting room
like a lobby
area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then down the hall is just more rooms of God knows what. So immediately we went in there, we were chatting, hanging out, and then we went down that hallway. We went through the waiting room and down the hallway, and immediately something felt off. Not bad, not evil, not like, something's going to come out and attack us, but just we were uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And it really took everything we had in us to what we did successfully walk down the hallway.
But everything in your body was like, leave, 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 leave.
Yes. So we stopped into one of the rooms, and it overlooked the front parking lot, and we were talking about the bourbon, Shy's Suburban, and the EMF reader. We were just standing in the middle of a room holding this EMF reader, and it is going crazy. We're not asking questions. We're not really doing anything. I mean, we're trying to ask questions, but it's not answering anything. It's just going nuts. And it would just go up and down very sporadically. So, Morgan, this is us leaving the room, and we're walking down the creepy hallway, and we're going to hear what sounds like another male voice.
Okay. I'm scared.
It's very quick.
I heard it, and that wasn't Blake.
No.
Okay. It just sounded like he went, hush.
Yeah, but we were all the way down the hallway, and this is before we heard the door open and close. He was still outside at this point. We wouldn't have heard him.
Right.
I'm going to listen to it one more time. Yeah, it sounds like huh or hush.
It's so quick. Like it does, it's not definitely not a feminine voice. It's definitely a male voice, but It's not like him going like, whoa. It's just like a
No.
very like half a second like snippet
Yeah.
of like maybe a higher pitched male voice. That doesn't sound evil,
Maybe.
but
No. Again, we were just uncomfortable.
yeah.
So then we kept walking down the hallway, and we did hear the front door open and close. Not very loud. They're really good about being quiet, but it opened and closed. It was Blake. We confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time we got to the end of the hallway, they were already gone upstairs. We did not hear them walk. Again, very impressed with how quiet they can be. So then, back it up just a little bit. We're going to hear a recording of us talking about, did we just hear a door open and close? And we had. It was an actual open and door. But then there was a noise in the background.
Opened the door.
Oh, it happened so fast.
That one's really quick.
Opened the door. Opened the door.
It almost sounds like the microphone like gets distorted a little bit. Like it's hard to tell, like, which is that like was something affecting the recording to where it sounded distorted? I don't know. It almost sounded like again, I don't know what's you guys just moving and then like what is extra.
Yes. Y'all can make your own decision on what you guys think it is. Just know we were walking at this time, but we weren't really even doing anything but walking. So we walked to the end of the hallway, back into the lobby to investigate the front door entry, which, yes, is what he told us not to do if we thought someone was coming in and out.
Right.
But we did it anyway, because we're stubborn women, and found that he was already gone. So we stood there for another minute, and we were discussing, was that the front door that opened? And then Blake comes over the radio and asks where we were. I'm going to let him tell you, because we got it on recording, hit exactly what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think the one truck that I saw was on the side road.
Question.
Oh, God. Yes.
Where y'all at?
Oh, we're in the downstairs front lobby area.
Okay.
Where is he?
The door? What?
We heard the door slam. Ask him where he's at.
Where are you at?
We just come back in the building, but we heard you guys up here on the second floor.
We've been down here for about 10 minutes now. We heard you come inside.
We heard the door slam
heard the
like
door close,
a minute ago.
But that's why when we came out, we were shocked that you weren't standing here. We've been down here for like 10 minutes.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, super weird.
I love how he just goes, well, that's weird.
Yeah. Well, that's weird. I think he was kind of freaking out a little bit. And again, he's very used to this hospital, and there has been some mimicking happening before.
I hate that so much.
But, oh, it gets worse. So, we later found out that he had gone up and was walking past our nerve center and heard us in that nerve center, and nobody was in there. And him and his dad were both there. Now, could he, let's play devil's advocate for a second. Could he be fucking with us? Sure. That did not sound like the voice of a person who was fucking with us, because it's not like he got on the radio and was like, hey, I heard you guys up here. He just asked plainly where we were, and then he didn't actually tell us until we were like, wait, where are you? So I feel like that shows some validity.
Yeah.
To what's happening. So I don't know if you heard, but while he was speaking with us, There was a thud.
Mm-hmm.
And after speaking with Shy, we're going to play that clip, that one little section of the clip again. After speaking with Shy, she was like, that wasn't any of us, because we were standing in the middle of the lobby, and we were not around anything. We were not touching. We were not even sitting. We were just standing, and there was a thump that none of us heard at the time.
Where are you at?
We just come back.
Yeah, I heard that on the first.
Yes. Okay. See, I didn't. That's one that Shy caught. And you heard it click and then a thump. And we have no idea what that thump is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we even sat anything down. We weren't even close to a table. So there's that.
Okay. So didn't he say that, or didn't Shelby say that, like, Blake heard your voices not just in the nerve center, but in other areas too?
He said, and we found this out later, he said, it sounded like y'all were everywhere.
I hate that so much.
And I was like, I wish that wasn't a quote that just came out of your mouth.
Oh, I hate it.
Okay, Morgan, this next one. We did not hear it in person, and it is probably going to be one of the clearest ones of the night.
Okay.
So recording number 17, this is us talking about the fact that they just heard us upstairs, but we're downstairs. So we're talking about it being a doppelganger. Okay.
Oh, I hate that.
So they heard us upstairs. So a doppelganger.
What did you hear, Morgan?
It almost sounded like go going, sup. Like,
If you listen to it really closely, there's a hard F and a hard K at the end. It sounds like fuck.
and that was clearly a man's
Clear
voice.
as day. And again, 3 women, the only 2 dudes that are there are upstairs.
Right, and like it didn't sound like it was coming through the radio. Okay, I have to replay that again.
Replay it again, yeah.
So they heard us upstairs. So a doppelganger.
I heard this time it sounded like a really country guy going, fuck.
Fuck.
That's wild.
Wild.
Jim was scared for y'all.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it. We were right outside Jim's apartment. He could have been like, fuck, they got her. They got it. So then, not knowing that a ghost just cussed at us, Jim, we went back into Jim's because we were like, oh, we'll chat it up with Jim for a little bit longer. And it kind of everything was a little off. Like, it wasn't like it was before where he would answer questions really well. It was kind of erratic, very similar to what we saw in the hallway. So we're wondering if maybe it wasn't Jim, if it was something that followed us from that hallway. But before we get all the way to Jim's room, Shy and I want to check out the sound booths because they seem really cool. Also, very well built.
Yes.
And Shy and I are looking at these sound rooms, and you can tell that we're in those rooms because the noise, even in the hallways between, because the way they're built kind of weird, there's 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you walk into those rooms, the sound is dampened, which is nice. And then Shelby just like says, "What was that?" and takes off running to the lobby. Like, ma'am, you're pregnant. What are you gonna do? But
Ghost
anyway,
chasers.
oh my God. So she comes back and she's like, I swear I just heard someone run in the hot lobby like they were doing like the quick shuffle to like they're trying to hide, kind of a quick, quiet shuffle. But there was no one there. So on the recording, you're going to hear a squeak and then Shelby say, "What was that?"
Shall we go talk
I don't
to
like
Jim?
that they lock from the outside.
What was that?
See,
you
it's
hear
so
the
hard to
squeak?
tell because, like, there's so much distortion. Like, it sounded
It's
like,
yeah, it's there, but from what I could tell, it almost sounded like a sneaker on a surface kind of squeak.
okay.
So, do we want to listen to it again?
Shall we go talk
I don't
to
like
Jim?
that they lock from the outside.
What was that?
See, to me, it just sounds like someone, like, moving the microphone, and I hear, like, the movement from that. I don't hear a squeak.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I don't,
put it
I
on
don't
there.
discount you, yeah.
I hear the squeak. It's kind of faint and far away, which tracks. But to me, it sounded like when you're running on a gym floor, kind
Yeah.
of a squeak.
Yeah.
With a tennis shoe. So if y'all hear it, let us know. That's great. So then we went back into gyms. Again, we were getting kind of like weird answers. And this is going to be our last recording, but it's a really good audio of the sound fading on its own. And then we didn't get anything else from him after that.
Okay.
Is that for real? We're just trying to piece it all together. We figured you could let us know.
Yeah, I heard it stop.
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. And he said at that moment, the EMF reader just stopped.
We didn't get any other answers from him past that. The only thing we did get after that was when we were leaving, Shy just happened to be holding it and it just spiked in a random corner of the room. Like someone was just standing there because she pulled it away and it was gone and she put it close and but
hate that.
It never answered again. I know. And it was so distinct. And guys, I cannot overstate. We weren't holding it. The recorder was sitting on the table. No one was touching it. No one was moving. Nothing was happening in that room. And this happened over and over. How we would get answers and it would be loud. We would not get answers and it would be quiet. And you can hear it in the audio. Okay. So, after our harrowing doppelganger and then Shelby hearing the footsteps and we're like, freak the fuck out. We're like, we're going to go back to Nerve Center. I'm going to finish writing down all my notes because goldfish brain, I will forget if I don't write it down. So we radioed up and we were like, hey, like, we're leaving in 10, 15 minutes. We're going to go up, gather our stuff. And he said, cool, let me know, and I'll walk you out when you're ready. So we went to pack up everything else. I was feverishly writing down the notes because I was starting to feel very uncomfortable, even in the areas of the hospital that had felt comfortable before. Our nerve center was like nerve center, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
I felt it. So just for context, there's 2 entrances to our little nerve center room. Mm-hmm. There's a table in the middle. Shy and Shelby were sitting on one side with their backs to one door. I was sitting on the other side with my back to the other door where we had kept our snacks. That was from Morgan. She knows where that was. So while I'm writing, I kept looking behind me because I kept feeling like someone was behind me. And I'm taking these notes feverishly. And then I kept looking up at Shy and she was looking in my eyeballs. She kept making eye contact with me like something was scaring the holy shit out of her. And then Shelby kept looking at me in some sort of a way. And all 3 of us were like, are you hearing this right now? Because we were hearing noises and whispers in the hallways outside the rooms. And it didn't sound like Blake, his wife, and his dad. It sounded like people just chatting in the hallway. Turns out, Shy would tell me later, she was staring at me like that because it sounded like my voice. And I'm sitting there, silent, taking notes, not saying a word. Morgan's biting her sweatshirt right now.
I hate it so much.
She said, she heard my voice on the recorder and she said, I want you to hear this because this is the tone, the southern drawl. Is what I couldn't make out what you were saying, but it was your voice. And I hear myself. I know I have a pretty unique voice. It's not like it's got a twang to it. And she's like, it was you. And this is my cousin. Like, she knows what I sound like. So we're also hearing knocks going on. As I was finishing up the notes, and Shelby did not tell us this until we got in the car. So I want you to know that she was trying to, like, get us out as fast as possible.
Oh, no.
So I was taking notes feverishly. Again, feeling like someone's behind me. I didn't know that Shelby saw this, but she says she looked up and there was a shadow looking over my shoulder, like it was looking at my notes. Like it had popped around from the wall and was looking over my shoulder.
No.
And she said it stayed there for a couple seconds and then backed up. I never noticed it, obviously, and she did not tell us until we got into the car. She held that shit in while Blake took us around and showed us the kitchens. Like, she did not tell us at all. And then, just to solidify that I don't think Blake was fucking with us, he was borderline bragging about how he walks this hospital alone at night, 4 a.m, no weird feelings or anything. Before he left, he said, can y'all stay right here for just a second? I'm going to go get my dad because I think I'm going to need him to walk around with me tonight to do the shutdown procedures.
Ooh. And he's been there for like a decade, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he said he started in like 2017, 2016 yeah. So the way the hospital felt after y'all left, I don't know what hospital that was. That was a different hospital. What happened? And he did say it tended to get, like, smaller groups tended to get more activity.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So we just helped you guys get experience everything.
Shelby said that it was like, you know those bodysuits that's like all one color?
Yeah.
She said it was like that, except blacker than black.
Oh, I hate it so much.
And just like looked around the corner over my shoulder. She said she could tell the nose, facial features, everything. Just, it was black.
Oh, I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
So
See,
bad.
if I saw something like that, like, I just know I would literally have a heart attack and die right in my chair.
Perish.
I would expire within moments.
On the spot.
And then Shelby's just holding
hospital.
that shit in for like the next 10 minutes until y'all are in the car or whatever.
Oh, it took us like 20 minutes because we did a tour of the kitchens and we're taking pictures.
And she's just like, I saw a ghost, I saw a ghost, I saw a ghost, I saw a shadow, I saw a shadow, man.
Shadow over my sister-in-law.
Hate it.
Yeah. And I think between the shadow man over my shoulder and Shy hearing me down the hall? Nah.
So Shy didn't see it.
No, she had actually looked away. So she missed it. I think she was trying to ignore my voice. Why me? Why? Why?
They're attracted
I didn't
to
ask
you.
for this.
You're a beacon for them.
I don't want to be. It's like, look at this bitch. I can get hurt.
Let me copy her voice. Ugh, I hate that.
So that was it.
That was our time at Old South Pittsburg Hospital Paranormal Research Center. It's paranormal. I will say so a few years ago, I'm a pretty skeptical person. Like, I'm a very scientific person. We've talked about it before. Mm-hmm. I think especially after this trip, my skepticism has drastically decreased.
Yeah.
Because especially with like the EMF reader and the dowsing rods and the things I heard, and maybe I'll get to a point where I'll be brave enough to like actually like look for things. I'm very much like, look straight ahead. Don't look at anything. I didn't look into any rooms. Also, apparently there's mannequins all over, and people will be like, Morgan, there's a mannequin. I'd be like, thank you. Because if I see a mannequin, I will scream. I will scream. I will scream. I hate mannequins. And I don't know why they put them in the hospital except to scare people. So thankfully everyone was like, Morgan, don't look into this room. There's a mannequin.
Yes, we know to like warn.
Yeah. But I didn't look into any rooms because I did see like there, and he told us too, like most of the things that you'll notice are like at the corner of your eye. Yeah. I did get some of that. And I was like, I'm not investigating that further.
I will not be looking into that.
But the things I know I heard were that woman talking behind us, the laugh, and then the man whispering down the hall.
Yeah. That laugh was just as clear as that fuck.
Yeah.
That we heard.
I think it was even
as clear.
I think it was even more because all four of us heard it and we all looked at each other and we're like, oh, they're right there. And then like nothing happened for like 5 to 10 more minutes.
So like the math ain't mathing on that one. I could have wrote that off.
Yeah.
And
we thought it was them.
Like, yeah, we thought it was them. And Shelby was like, yeah, we heard you guys say something. Because they really didn't even understand what you had said. And we heard booty boos and we kind of laughed. And I'm like, no, it wasn't a kind of laugh. And it wasn't something you could have done and it sound like that.
And it
There's
wasn't
no way.
Multiple voices. It was one voice laughing.
Yes, it was one. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
You know. Oh. I hate it, but I love it at the same time.
I was talking to some people. It was after our adventure, and I was telling them about how spooky it was and how I hate being scared. And someone I was with was like, "It sounds like you really like it." And I was like, "I really don't. I'm peer pressured into it, and I can look back on it and be like, okay, that was like an interesting. But when I'm in it, I hate every second. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't want to be scared. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to hear anything. I just want to go home." But I persevere for you, Emily.
Thank you. I think it's great that we have two different approaches to it, because I think that actually adds some things. Because I too I'm a skeptical believer. Mm-hmm. So I am open to a lot of the ideas, but also I'm not opposed. You heard me multiple times now, guys. I needed someone else to be like, was that us? Was that something else? I want to verify. I want to debunk. Because my philosophy is, if 99% of it is false and only 1% of it is true, then it exists.
Right.
It's just you have to weed out what's not real. So I think we got some good evidence.
I think we did too. And it's a little woo-woo, but this is our third year doing it, so you need to learn to accept our once-a-year woo-woo stuff.
We gave you as much history as we could.
Yes,
okay, guys?
We really tried. There was not a lot, but we do have plans to go out of state next year. Not that we've exhausted our Tennessee options.
No, but we want to mix it up.
Yeah, try to travel a little bit, and hopefully start planning a lot earlier than, July, August?
Oops. Sorry, guys. Yeah, this one, I don't want to call it thrown together because it did take us a couple months. But just in case y'all are wondering, if you were planning on doing something like this, you got to start about 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
And especially with like the group of people at this size that we do it.
And the closer you get to like October, the harder it is going to be to book something like this, because everyone wants to do spooky stuff when it's spooky.
We had 2 dates available in October, and through a series of unfortunate events, the one we wanted got booked. So that's why we're kind of late, because 1 week to listen to all this audio is not enough. So we're more like closer to 2 weeks by the time this comes out. So we're sorry about that. But just know it does take a lot of time and effort and money. So
yes,
I hope y'all appreciate this. We like it.
Yeah. And we got t-shirts this time, and now that like we have gotten our own t-shirts, hopefully that can mean we can start like producing t-shirts to sell to our listeners, and maybe some other products too.
That would be amazing.
It would be. Ooh. Well, we hope you enjoyed our spooky adventure. We sure did. To various degrees, but it was fun. And it was fun to go with this group, and I'm so glad I got to bring 2 of my friends from Nashville in, and we could all meet, and I'm like, my friend groups are converging, and
I love it. They were
so
great. You're very good at picking friends.
I was just talking to my mom about that, because I was like, okay, all of my friends like love to read and are very bookish and are like super smart and like are like me in different forms, basically. So I guess like I pick people who are similar enough to me where I'm like, we have things in common, and then that's all my friends.
Yes. I love it. I love it. It makes getting along with your friends easier, because we have a mutual friend that I met through you. I've only met her twice in person, and we snap every day.
Yes.
So
She's so great. Like, she was like, who are your friends? And I tell her, she's like, they're my friends now too. And like, there's another friend that she knows. I don't even think they've met in person. Her and Corey. But
I don't think so.
But I think they know of each other, and I think they've like spoken a few times on like social media. Yeah. And I'm just like, my friends.
Any friend of you, like, any friend of yours is a friend of mine.
Yes.
Because if you get past the gates of Morgan, you're accepted.
I'm very picky.
Yes. And you should be. As you should be.
Yes.
Okay. We hope you enjoyed it. And we're gonna go start planning next year so we can go on a mini vacation.
Ooh, and maybe even bring more people.
I'm definitely bringing my family and leaving them at the house, condo, hotel, whatever we get, while I trapeze a city with my bestie. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.